In this video, I'm going to show you how you can create the Stranger Things logo using Affinity Designer. So I'm using version 2 of the software. If you are using the older version, the process should still be very much the same. Also, if you're using Affinity Photo, again, the process will be very similar. So let's have a quick look at the Stranger Things logo. So this is the logo we will recreate using Affinity Designer. So we won't get it exactly perfect because they have customized some of the text or the fonts, I should say, within this logo. You can probably see that the letter G has kind of a flat back. So we're never going to get it exactly perfect, but we'll get it very, very close. So first of all, we need to download the Benguiat font which is used in the logo. So just type in Benguiat font free download in Google and you should get a list of sites you can download it from. I will put this name in the description as well. So the site I went to is F Fonts and I just downloaded it from the first link, and once it does appear onto your Windows PC, you will need to unzip the file, and once it appears, right click on it and select install from the list, and it will be installed onto your Windows PC. So make sure you do that first, unless it won't show up in Affinity Designer. So let's open up Affinity Designer. So I'm just going to choose File and choose New. And the resolution I'm going to choose is the Full HD 1080p. You can go higher for a better resolution, but this one's fine. Select Create. So first of all, we need to choose a black background. So let's have a quick look at the logo. So it's a black background with text with a red outline. So first of all, we want to go to the toolbar on the left-hand side and select the rectangle tool, and then draw a rectangle from the one corner to the other. If you have the snapping tool switched on, it makes life a lot easier as it snaps into place. So once that's been done, we want to change the color, so make sure it's highlighted in the layers option, or selected I should say. And under the color tab, so I select the color tab and I'm on the color wheel. If you want to choose a different option such as sliders and so on, just choose that option, but I like the color wheel personally. And let's just change it to a black. And we want to lock this into place so it doesn't move around. So with the layers option, you can see the rectangles listed here, and if we go across slightly, we can see there's a lock option by here. So just click on that to lock it into place. So the next step is to add some text. So I personally like to add a new layer to put the text into place. So again, with the layers option selected, click on this icon, which is add a layer. We can now add our text inside this layer. So go again to the left hand side and choose the artistic text tool from the list, not the frame tool, but the artistic text tool, and then just enlarge the text, and I can then paste the text into place. So you can't see the text because obviously the text is black with a black background, but if we make sure the text is selected, we can then change it to white for the time being so we can just see it. So the next step is to choose the font style, or change the font style. So go to the font, which is up towards the top, and from the list go down to the letter B and choose the Benguiat font, and just make that a little bit smaller. So you can now see it's taking shape, and then we want to change all the letters to caps. So go to text, capitalization, and choose all caps, and we can now see it's been changed to all caps, so it looks very similar. So let's have a quick look at that. That's the logo, and this is my version. So you probably can see that the Stranger Things logo only has a red outline with a transparent or black center. So to do this, it's quite simple. With the text selected from the layers option, we got these options under the color wheel. So you can see the solid color is white. So we select that and choose the icon next to it. It goes transparent. And if we select the circle with a hole in it, the donut I call it, and we can then change the color of that to a red color. And to increase the width of the outline, we can choose the stroke option, and we can just increase the width slightly. So I think that looks pretty good. So just have a look at the original. You can now see it's taking shape. So the next step is to add the things underneath. So we want to maintain the same width as the original. So to do this, it's quite simple. We can either go to the layers option, and under the Stranger text, we can right click and we can select duplicate to create a new one, or we can simply select the text, press and hold the Alt key on our keyboard and drag downwards, and the same thing is created. So we want to change that to things. Just going to copy and paste to save a little bit of time. So that's in place. So this just put things in the middle to make it look nice. So we can use the alignment option to make sure it's in the middle. Same with this one as well. And let's just move that up a little bit. So let's have a quick look at the original. So we can probably see the things just kind of starts just at the end of the T. The same with the S, it just starts by the end of the E. So let's have another quick look. Maybe a little bit bigger. And again, we can put that in the middle. So I think that looks pretty accurate. Again, let's have another quick look. So that looks good. So the next step, we want to make the S and the R bigger. So you can probably see on the original, the S is below or bigger, and the R is also bigger. So to do this, again, it's not too difficult. If we just put a cursor over it, select it first of all, then double click, then we can highlight the individual letters. So highlight the S first. And then if we go to the toolbar on the top and select the A option, which is character, a new box should appear. So we've got this little box we can move around as well. So to make the S bigger, we want to focus on the positioning and transform option, and we want to choose this one, which is called vertical scale. So I'm going to increase this to 135, I think is a good match. So you can probably see the S is bigger, but it's gone upwards instead of down. So to move it down, we can choose this option, which is baseline, and click on the down arrow, and we can move it downwards and try and match it up to the others. So just keep going down until it kind of gets into line. That looks pretty good. And if I move this box over to the other side, we can just double click or just click and highlight. And again, choose this one, which is vertical scale, and increase it to about 135. And again, choose the option next to it to go downwards. Just try and match it up as best as you can. So that looks pretty good for now. So let's have a quick look. So that looks realistic. We can also change the spacing of the letters. So if you select the letters and if you press the Alt key and hold it down on your keyboard and press the arrow keys. Sorry, try that again. Just undo that. So make sure the text is selected. Press and hold the Alt key, and you can press the arrow keys, and you can see you can actually space a bunch of letters together. So again, choose the one you want. I think it looks pretty good as it was. So I'm just going to leave it as it is. Again, make it center. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Let's have another quick look. So it looks fairly accurate. Okay, so the next step is we want to add these horizontal bars across the top and ones underneath the letter S and the R. So you can probably see that again they're kind of transparent in the middle, and just the outline is a red color. So we can actually use the rectangle tool for this. So select that, and if we go across, you can see the snapping tool is in place, and we can then just draw, and again you can see it's being snapped into place. And if we then go to the color wheel, we can choose with the rectangle selected, we can choose the red color. So you can usually click on this option by here to match the color, and we may need to increase the stroke again to see it's visible. So I think that looks pretty good. And again, we can just adjust this. It's a little fiddly to adjust, but if we just put a cursor over these little circles, we can adjust it, make it a little bit bigger or smaller. So let's make it a little bit smaller. I think that looks pretty good. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So let's move that into place. Let's just place it slightly above, I should say. Again, let's have a look at the original. And again, we want to put the same underneath the S and the R. So again, we can either duplicate this one by right clicking on the rectangle and again selecting that if you want to, or a simpler way is to select it and press and hold the Alt key and we can drag it down. Just kind of line it up. And then we can resize this one, so go across the one side and make sure the arrows are horizontal, not diagonally, unless it was change size. And we can just scale it down. There's a little fiddly, as you can probably see. So that's pretty good. And we can, again, we can do the same on the other side. So just select it, press the Alt key, and we can drag the other one to the other side to save time and make sure it's the same width and so on. We can also go to the view option and we can turn on the show grid option. So if you need to line things up better, you can turn on the grid and just get a general idea if things are lining up. Again, it's not that easy, but you can probably see it lines up pretty good. I'm just going to close that a minute. So I'm just going to make this one a little bit bigger actually. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Let's have a look at the original. So that's the original and that's my version. So it's not quite the same, but it is very, very close. So the last step is we just want to bunch all this together. So we just put a cursor over the blank space on the side and then just drag and hold and highlight everything. Right click and select group. And then we can align it dead center with the alignment tool. So select that, and it should be dead center if it's not. So we then want to add a little bit of a glow. You can probably see in the original there's a slight glow to the letter, so we can do that. So this has all been grouped together now, so select it, and then under the layers option we can see there's an FX tool, which is layer effects. So select that and we can choose outer glow. So click on outer glow, put a tick in the box, and the blend mode is set to screen, which usually works the best in my opinion, so you don't need to change that, but you can if you want to. And choose a color. So again, we can choose the color with the little option here, and then we just increase the radius. You can probably see the colors are being, a slight glow is being applied. So again, you can just experiment with this as much as you want. So I think that looks pretty good. So let's just close that and have a quick look. So you can now see there's a nice glow. And again, if you just need to change anything, you can select it and you can ungroup and you can just make alterations if you want to and so on. But I don't need to, so I'm just going to undo that. So I think that looks pretty good. So let's have one final look at the real logo. So that's a real logo and this is my version. So once you're happy with it, go to the file option, select export, make sure the area is set to whole document. So you save all it, you can choose JPEG or your other options you want, and make sure its quality is maximum. If you want maximum quality, select export, choose a location, just going to give it a quick name, select save, and if I go to my folder, should be here, and there it is. So I think that looks pretty good. So hopefully that helps you. Thanks for watching.